What is up, everybody? Hopefully you had a great weekend and you were able to catch Pastor Brandon's first message officially as our pastor on our YouTube channel or on our Cave Spring BC YouTube live stream. If you weren't able to catch that, you definitely want to go back and watch that wonderful, powerful message from Pastor Brandon. Just want to share a quick word with you today from 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. It says, "Clothe yourselves, all of you, with humility towards one another. For God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble." All right, so the reality of our lives is that we're proud. You're proud. I'm proud. You probably didn't really like me saying that about you right now. Maybe you felt a prick in your heart or maybe a lump in your throat, as I did when I wrote this morning, and even as I'm saying it right now. We don't like being called proud. We don't like saying that we're prideful. We don't like it when anyone else tells us that we're prideful. Really, that's probably a form of pride if we're honest with ourselves. But the thing about it is that we are proud. We are proud human beings. And the dangerous thing about it is that we don't really realize how proud we really are. We know that pride is a sin, but for some reason we think it's a sin for someone else and not really us. I think more often than not, we are very quick to compare ourselves to the very worst examples of proud people that we know. And this gives us a sense of self-righteousness, and this gives us a sense of comfort, because we think, well, you know, I'm not as proud as so-and-so, or I know somebody who's really prideful and arrogant and conceited and cocky and all that other stuff. So by comparison, we think that we're not that bad. And see, this makes for a very serious sin problem. The reason why is that we need to stop comparing ourselves to others and start considering how pride reveals itself in our own lives. We demonstrate the sin of pride whenever we put ourselves before others. We demonstrate the sin of pride when we get angry, when we get annoyed at life's little inconveniences. How dare something or someone get in my way, get in the way of my plans, my agenda, my life, whatever it is. See, in a very real way, pride, like idolatry, lies behind virtually every sin that exists. Because in the moment that we choose that sin, we deny God and we exalt ourselves. Pride is why we get angry. Pride is why we lust and covet and steal and lie. We do things because we believe that we deserve what we don't have. We break every one of the 10 commandments because of pride. And see, this is the kind of pride that denies God and others the place that they deserve in our lives. Another possible reason why we think pride isn't a serious issue is because we think so little of the talents and the abilities and spiritual gifts that God has given to us. But see, having poor self-esteem isn't really an indication of humility or meekness. In fact, it's really disregarding and undermining the work that God is doing in your own life. See, humility isn't thinking less of yourself. Humility is the opposite of pride, but it's not thinking less of yourself. It's really, humility is thinking of yourself less. Or really, better yet, humility is thinking of yourself not at all. But how does humility and poor self-esteem and false meekness connect to pride? I'm glad you asked. Have you ever used the excuse of not having a talent or not having an ability to kind of excuse yourself of a spiritual responsibility? Maybe when you were asked or God brought something to your heart or your mind, when God asked you to do something, you know, or He laid something before you, you said, well, there's no way I could possibly do that. I couldn't do that. I don't have the ability. I can't do this, or I can't do that. There's no way I could ever get up in front of somebody or say something or do something. And we use it as an excuse not to do something. And so is it possible that we've used this poor self-esteem, this idea that we don't have the ability or that we don't have the talent to do something, or that we might be embarrassed to do something, as an excuse for doing nothing, or maybe avoiding something as a way to just simply save face? I mean, who could fault you or hold you accountable when you don't claim to be good at anything? Don't make any mistake about that. It's pride. What we need is a real picture of who God is, a clear picture of ourselves, a clear picture of God, and a clear understanding of our only hope in Jesus Christ. And the only way that this comes is through the gospel. We have to see ourselves who we really are, created by God, for God, hopeless in sin without God, unrighteous and undeserving, but that God, in his holiness, in his righteousness, in his loving kindness, and in his mercy, and in his gracious love, came down and saved us, and will save anyone who will put their faith and trust in him. So that's the key point. Faith and trust in God, not in faith and trust in ourselves. Preaching the gospel to ourselves 100 times a day in 100 different ways is the only way to destroy pride. It's the only way to build up humility. And it's the only way to live in the joy of your salvation. All right, so here's the challenge for you today. There are over 150 references to pride and humility in the Bible. I want you to take some time today, and I want you to find 5 verses about pride or humility. I can say proud, pride, humility, humble, something like that. I want you to write 5 of those verses in your prayer journal. Here's a hint. If you go to BibleGateway.com and you type in the keyword pride, or type in the keyword humble, or humility, or proud, you're going to get plenty of hits. And after you've done that, and you spend some time in prayer asking God to reveal and remove some of the pride in your own life, snap a picture of the verses that you wrote down and upload them to GroupMe so that you can inspire your brothers and sisters to do the same. Again, maybe you're thinking, there's no way I'm going to post in GroupMe. I'm embarrassed. I don't want people to know that I'm doing this or that. Listen, that's pride. Don't let God, don't let that stop you from doing what God wants you to do. We're working on this. We're going to get this out of our lives. So, again, I just love and I love and miss you guys so much. Please let me know if you need anything at all. Oh, quick announcement. Pastor Brandon and I will be doing a live stream on Facebook tomorrow night. It's Cinco de Mayo related or themed. I'm not really sure what he's going to be having me do, but I'm pretty sure we're going to look silly and we're going to eat tacos because it's also Taco Tuesday. So, again, I love and miss you guys. Please, please, please let me know if you need anything at all, or you know anybody who needs anything, and we'll do our best to make something happen for them or for you. I hope to see you guys all very, very soon. I love you guys. See you soon. Bye.